Oh my gosh, it's us. We're here. Wow, nobody told me my hat looked this crazy. I feel like I look like a total crazy person. You would think I would like check myself, but I've mostly got it together. I'm prepared to do this. How are you all doing?
Good.
Doing very good.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
I am too. I'm really excited about this week. I have been thinking about it a lot. We're back. It's Sunday, Kings of Neon. It's episode 4, which feels kind of wild. Like, I can't believe we've been doing this now for a month. And I also am like, oh my gosh, like we've been doing this for a month. Like, I don't know how you all feel, but I'm like antsy to like see more happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially we kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, so it's like we're double antsy.
Yeah, tensions are high. Tensions are very high. We ended on like quite a cliffhanger, it feels like.
I'm excited but nervous because
Like
cliffhangers are great and the excitement is there, but it's always just like anytime you play an RPG, it's like as has been said, the dice tell the story, and sometimes the dice can go ways that are just like, oh no, didn't think this was gonna go this way.
Yeah, I mean, that's very much the space I'm existing in, where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like big stuff. I sort of didn't expect us to accelerate to this point this quickly, and that may seem counterintuitive because I put you all here, but I just followed the dice, and like, here we are, right?
Yeah.
So, any big questions? Anything important we should talk about?
Who is it that's responsible for killing everyone? And
I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Worth a shot.
Uh-huh.
It was. Yeah, you never know when you'll be able to sneak some information out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could be the Alfred Molina in this moment and just spill all the beans.
Oh my gosh.
You get that reference? What
I
just
do.
happened?
That's a very
Yes.
recent reference.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Quite topical. Cool. So, we're going to have a little bit of a short episode tonight. We're only going for about 2 hours. I'm sorry to all you folks out there who will be, desperate and sad when we turn this off. But
nothing else to do with your evening.
Exactly. Exactly. To that point, I think that we're just going to jump right in. So, monologue. One of you will do the monologue. I believe Zed has volunteered as tribute.
Volunteered.
So, to put us back into the city of neon that you all call home.
Mm-hmm. So I think the camera's going to follow as Escher narrates and says, "It's been a long night, man. It's been a really long night. We were at the library, and then we went to this place called Divinity Estates, and then we went to this club where we met these dude bros named Justin and maybe his friends. I don't know. I didn't see him. I made a friend, this person named Charlie, who, I don't know what they were doing there. I don't know what people, they were the only person I saw who, like, dressed like me and looked like they didn't fit in. And I would never be caught in a place like Club Delphi, so I don't know what Charlie was doing there. But tonight is not the night to figure that out, because we went on from Club Delphi over to this was so cool, but so wild. Jonathan got us into the crime scene where these murders are taking place. It's been a long night. A long night. I took a phone off a homeless guy. I don't feel great about it. But also, he was like calling a snitch on us, so I don't think I really had a choice. Anyway, then we had to go back to Divinity Estates. Still one night. It's all been one very long night. And now we're coming face to face with that guy, Erastus, on his home turf, which doesn't seem great at the end. Maybe of this very long night.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe next week it's still the same night. Oh,
Maybe.
boy, I hope not.
So I think that the camera takes in the sight of the four of you, Nick, Escher, Lyra, Iggy, as you're standing in this sort of like mirrored elevator, right? The light of the button like glowing, the numbers climbing as the doors have closed and you all have begun to ascend to this floor where Lyra was just earlier tonight. Is there a beat here? Is there a conversation amongst you all as you're heading up?
And no one's in the elevator with us. Like the guard isn't with us.
No, it's just the four of you. Yep.
And we're going to the 12th floor.
Yes,
have,
I think you established the 12th floor. Yeah.
Do we have like a plan? I mean, I know that half of this feels like we're just sort of playing it by ear, but I feel like a plan would have been good before getting into this elevator. What are we even gonna say when these doors open?
Don't stress. Really, don't. Like, Jonathan's probably doing fine. When he's talking to him in the club, like, Jonathan, they were like best friends. I hate the guy. I'm gonna warn you guys. He's this guy. You'll see him. You'll see him. He's my nightmare. He's a nightmare of a human being. I feel bad for his sister, and I'm not looking forward to this.
I mean, I feel like Jonathan's going to be fine. Sure, I've seen him in action. He's great. He knows how to talk. I'm more worried about the rest of us, specifically myself. I feel like you guys can handle yourself really well.
We got you, Nick. Don't stress.
Everything's gonna be fine, Doctor. You
Yeah,
don't happen to
that doesn't make me less stressed.
You don't happen to have a scalpel on you, do you?
Ooh.
No, I think I left that in my other scrubs. As I'm wearing still the jeans and fancy shirt.
I was gonna say,
Just wondering.
listen, you're the respectable one here, I guess. You're dressed nice. You have a fancy job. I'm sure he'll like you better than the rest of us.
Fancy is a strong word, but I mean, maybe. I don't know. This seems like a bad idea, but I mean, we're in the elevator now.
He's gonna have us, like, he wants full control. This guy is 100% control freak. 100% has gotten probably everything he's ever wanted in his life. And yeah, I hate him.
I don't get the sense he's behind these deaths, though. I mean, I'm almost getting the sense that they're legit trying to figure out what's going on. It's just that they're kind of...
He's taking pride in whatever he's doing for the city and, having the mayor in his back pocket.
Well, wouldn't it be bad to have someone in our back pocket who has the mayor in their back pocket? There's pockets all the way down.
No.
It's like a 90s Marvel comic in here.
Ding, ding, ding. And so I think that the camera,
and all of this takes place with us looking in the same direction, by the way. Like,
We're not looking at each other.
No.
We're all facing the doors.
Following social norms.
I think you're all looking at like the distorted reflection of yourselves in the mirrored elevator doors, right, with their scratches and fingerprints. And I think that the camera lingers on that image as we transition, and we see the shot from behind Jonathan as the door is opened to the office of this kind of penthouse suite that he's in upstairs in the Divinity Estates. And we see this very kind of cliched, the desk is out in front of you. It's the sight mirrored of the scene when Lyra walked into this room before. There's a couple of weapons leaning up against one wall, a pair of shotguns, a bulletproof Kevlar vest on a kind of love seat, very awkwardly out of place sitting there. There's a fish tank against one wall, the back window illuminating skyline kind of pouring in. But I think that the desk itself, we see the silhouette of a figure sitting there with the light kind of pouring in from around them, right? These lamps, these big desk lamps up behind them. So they're sort of this dark silhouette amidst the light. And Jonathan, we just see his back flanked by Agent Anderson and Special Agent Anderson. As we hear the voice from in the room hello, Jonathan, come on in.
All right, you don't have to tell me twice.
And so as you come walking in, you see like the pair of like leather chairs in front of the desk. And I think that the camera beginning to like kind of swoop around, the light shifts, the angle shifts. And we see this person sitting at the desk is wearing kind of like a like very similar to the agents, this sort of like black power suit. You could see pretty quickly that they have a vest on underneath the like jacket, right? And it's a woman. Her complexion darker. She has this very kind of smooth, thick black hair pulled back tight into this long kind of like ponytail down her back, right? And she's sitting at this desk. There's files arrayed out all in front of her, a laptop to the side, back facing you. And she just looks up at you like, I was about to leave for the evening, but then I got a call.
About me?
Yes, about you. The second call I got tonight, as a matter of fact.
All right, I don't mean to be rude. I don't know who you are. You seem to know me, Jonathan Keeley. How you doing? So who am I talking with?
She says, my name is Senior Agent Perez. I was placed in charge of this task force by the mayor.
All right, Perez, nice to meet you. I'm glad to be talking to a senior agent. No guff against Anderson or Anderson here, but it's nice to be on a higher level.
And I think we see her like glance past you like, yes, well, I was only introduced to them when this job was given to us. I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's been happening, Mr. Keeley. People are dying.
Yeah.
If I were called in earlier, I might have more answers than I do. But I can tell you that just tonight, I have come up against opposition to the pursuit of the truth. And you have been involved in that. So I am not pleased to be speaking to you. But here we are.
I mean, look, I'm also trying to get to the bottom of it too. I think we may be having different approaches, but I also don't want crime in the city. I'll tell you that much. Like, I'm trying to solve this. Sorry if I'm stepping on your toes a little bit, but I think we're after the same guys.
Are we? Or are you the guys I am after?
You might have got me there. I don't know.
I think that she's just like, so that's why my agents find you at my crime scene? After you already knew that you would not be granted access, you're down there talking to the police.
Yeah, I mean, look, lady, that's what I do. That's my job. I go to crime scenes. I take photos. I sell them. I got to make a living. You know, I didn't get in earlier. I thought I could get in again. But, the cops did their job. They didn't let me in. So, I mean, I don't see how I'm opposing you that much.
I suppose that's fair, unless you're not telling me everything you know. Are you telling me, Jonathan?
No, I don't tell anybody anything I know.
So I think she's like, yes. Well, I got that impression, and therein lies our problem.
So is there a proposed resolution to this problem?
And I think that she like sighs a little bit, like, I propose resolution. You will tell me everything you know, unlike the other people that you associate with in your life. And I will not have you thrown into a cell and erased from history.
Okay, I mean, I've been threatened before, but that's a big one. Like, erasure is big.
Yes, well, that's why I am escalating so quickly. I do not wish to dilly-dally, as they say.
All right. Yeah, I think Jonathan takes a seat right next to her, and it's just kind of like leaning back, kicks his feet up, like, shoot, go first. What do you want to know?
I want to know about the people that you were with at the library tonight. They are friends of yours? You're in a book club.
Yeah, I think the second part, you got it. We're in a book club together. Friends, we'll see.
All of you experienced something then at the library last month?
Yeah, there was something weird happened like last month.
Do you want to elaborate? I ask only because, well, I reviewed some footage when I arrived here tonight of a being, a man with glowing red eyes and two wings of a moth trailing dust as it circled around this office right here.
Yeah,
just
right
outside this window.
right
right
out
behind
there.
me.
Yeah. All right, since you kind of know a little bit, I guess, something weird happened like a month ago. It affected me, affected, I think, lots of people in this city. Something's inside of us being like awakened, you know, and what you saw tonight, that's a little bit of what I can do. I don't fully know what anybody else can do, really, but it's kind of like a learning process for me, too, you know, like, yeah, I can fly, I can do that, but, like, what else I can do? I don't know.
Do you feel you are in control?
That's a very good question. It's a struggle, but it's a conscious, like, I know it's there, back behind.
And you're confirming then for me that all of your friends underwent a similar metamorphosis.
Look, I can confirm what's happening to me. Something's happening to the people of the city, yeah. Is it happening to them? I think so. I don't know. I want to tell you yes for sure. I want to.
Well, what else can you tell me? What did you find out tonight?
All right, look, I feel like I've answered a couple of yours. How about you answer a little bit of mine? Like,
How about not? I mean, that is another option.
that is an option. You're a tricky one, Perez.
I'm not that tricky. I'm being very straightforward with you. The truth is, I have been tasked with hunting monsters in the city, Jonathan Keeley. And you, I am not so sure what you are yet. I have resources available to me, and I have been given a great deal of authority in how I administrate the task appointed to me by our good mayor.
Now, you said something interesting there. Monsters. That's big, you know. I think hunting people, hunting murderers is what we were after, but monsters.
Oh, are murderers now monsters? You've seen, I'm sure, many terrible things in your field. An interesting field to pursue, one that not many healthy people would choose to engage in on a daily basis, but then again, they say the same thing about my job, so.
Yeah, you're right. Look, I've seen a lot of death, a lot of crime scenes, and at the end of the day, everything I've seen has been a man did that, like a person did that. You know, like did they have hatred in them or evil in them? Maybe, but a monster, that, I don't know.
It's an interesting perspective. Go ahead.
Perez, what about what other monsters do you think you're gonna find here? You think myself and my friends are murdering people, or you think there are other monsters murdering people?
I think that you have admitted to me that your friends are not so much friends as acquaintances, and that you have admitted to me that suddenly you can grow wings and your eyes turn glowing red. If that is not a monster, I am not entirely sure we are working with the same vocabulary. English, though, is not my first language, so I may be off base. There is the matter of how much these associates of yours you trust. Perhaps one of them has the capacity for some horrific violence within them.
Yeah, perhaps.
Well, I give you this offer then, and I think that we see her like glance down to the laptop right? And the camera like shifts to behind her, and we see Jonathan sitting in front of the desk, and like the many screens on the laptop of like small kind of camera windows, and it's like ding, the elevator doors open, and like here stand your four friends, and so I think that she's just like, I will give you this offer as your, well, your book club seems to have come here to find you. You work for me now. You tell me what you find. You tell me what they tell you. Or...
Well, since you think we're all monsters, all of us, I'm a little less inclined to work for you.
I am not sure if you are monsters. Please, I'm sorry if I misspoke. The communication barrier, it is real even with shared language. I just would say that I am uncertain. If I thought you were monsters already, I would have killed you. All of you.
Well then.
As I said, I have been given a great deal of leeway in how to manage this problem.
And is this should I introduce my friends and get them in on the ground level, or are we they're coming quick. What do you want me to do here?
She says, I am making you an offer, and I think that you have already done what you are going to do. Her eyes like narrowed at you. She says, you say that you are a man who wants to do something. I am giving you the opportunity to. There is nobody more concerned with getting to the bottom of this than me, except for perhaps you, if you're telling the truth. So.
All right, look. Let's feel this out on like a trial basis. You know? Let's see how this works. Tell me what you want me to do, and I'll see if I can get it done. If this seems like something way bigger than me, like, you know, I'd like to help. I want to end crime in this city, no doubt.
Good.
But I also don't want to get my book club hurt, you know?
She says, well, I do not want to get them hurt either, so we have some basis to move forward with. I will be in touch as needed. Now, you may introduce me to your friends. And I think that the camera cuts to the four of you in the hallway as the elevator doors open. Bing! And you're all kind of like standing out in the elevator. Yeah.
Who wants to walk into the creepy office space?
Lyra will stride out and immediately just walk in, just like.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lyra leading the posse, you know right where you're going as you turn, and we see the group kind of heading down the hallway, and you come to the door of the Erastus suite, and you knock.
Bang, bang, bang.
And I think as you're about to bang it the third time, the door opens, and Special Agent Anderson is standing there, his big flat top, blonde hair, and he's just well, fancy seeing you again. And he just steps out of the way of the door and gestures into the office. I think you know the way.
Yeah, I do. Thanks.
And so the four of you come in. You see Agent Anderson and this third agent standing here. Yes, Iggy? Were you going to say something?
As Iggy walks in, he'll say to Agent Anderson, your door opening skills are top notch.
Special Agent Anderson. He's the not fun one.
I think Agent Anderson's oh, I assure you, neither of us are fun.
Hi, Agent Anderson.
I was going to say, I'm impressed you can tell them apart.
There's an innocence to Agent Anderson. Special Agent Anderson just is full, not fun. Can't mess with him.
And I think that the third agent, this woman in the room, is that's what I keep saying. As the four of you walk in, and you see this door off to the side, and Agent Anderson just walks over and opens the door to the office, right? And you could see Jonathan sitting at a desk, this woman sitting behind him, and I think you hear her call from the room, please come in.
Are there any scissors on any of these desks?
Yes. Yeah, as Iggy like scans the room, we see like this like, mess of all kinds of office stuff, and over near the wall with like the mystery board of like all the lines connecting, there's a bunch of cutouts, just scissors like sitting with a bunch of files.
Iggy's going to try to casually kind of like pick up a pair of scissors. Like simply like put his body between any
That's what you're gonna walk into the room and do.
Yes.
I think, Iggy, that this is a change the game move.
It's something.
I think this is a change the game move, Iggy, as you're looking to like give yourself a tag, the story tag of scissors. We want the scissors like are about to become important, seemingly. So you're gonna make a change the game move, Iggy. What are we using here?
I'm looking.
Sure. I'm gonna just reset your sheet.
No. How well lit is the room?
It's pretty well lit. I mean, it's very like administrative, like office space kind of thing. Lots of fluorescent, cold, emotionless lighting,
Oh.
Okay. Wait a minute. Stuff got unchecked.
Oh my God, Todd just subscribed for 3 months. Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate it.
Hey.
Thank you, Todd.
Todd and Pia, the MVPs of the channel.
They are. Oh, geez. I really do appreciate the love.
So I have physical objects as a power tag. Which
You sure do.
Attention to detail. He's like looking for.
Yep.
And fancy knife work.
Fancy knife work. What do we say? Team, does scissors fall underneath the domain of knife?
In
I
this
would
situation, yes.
I
If it
would
doesn't
say if you were
knives,
using
looking
them,
for-
yes. Like if you were making an attack with them, I'd give it to you. In trying to take them, that feels different.
You like sliding? Well, actually.
Well, I feel like it's the sleight of hand, like fancy knife work. Like I feel like sleight of hand like comes into that a little bit.
I would argue
Sneak
that
it without
works
cutting.
because, well, not even beyond the cutting. I would make the argument that as a chef, I see Iggy also as a chef that is of the Benihana school that loves doing the fancy knife stuff and making stuff disappear in their hands in and out. So I feel like that could apply just because he's good with doing the knife tricks. When
Fair enough.
you can correct me though if you're not that type of cook.
I like
You're more of
tags
the-
by consensus. Yeah, I think it seems like the knives have it, and so we'll give you fancy knife work, Iggy.
So 3 tags.
And you of course can pull on any of your crew tags if any of you want to help.
Not this early.
Can the library help you steal the scissors?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think that one doesn't apply
Nice.
for once. That's great success. That is a
Very
great
nice.
success,
Nice.
Iggy. You have very successfully palmed the knife. So the idea is here, you get juice. You want to create a story tag, which is scissors. That's one of your juice. You could like scale up the effect. We could call it like a scissors 2. And so here's actually the thing. You want to hide the effect. So that's probably one, right?
Yes, that's what I said. I was going to do scissors 1, hidden 2. Is that
Oh no, we don't even have. Yep, we don't even have to do that. Like just that the scissors are unestablished. Nobody knows you have them. So you spend 1 to make the scissors, 1 to hide the scissors. Do you want to spend 1 to like keep the scissors throughout this scene, beyond this scene? Like you could extend the duration of the scissors, making them like the idea here is just that like they're going to be relevant whenever,
I can't see Iggy taking another person's tools, even ones as unimportant as a pair of scissors.
So you will leave them
I
on
will
your
probably
way
leave
out.
them.
So you could burn the extra juice to make it like scissors 2, and they're hidden. Okay.
So it's like hidden scissors.
Yeah. Yeah. Give yourself a tracking tag of hidden scissors 2.
Yes, scissors.
The scissors are hidden.
Legends of the Hidden Scissors.
Our boy Piano Man Adam may appreciate this, but I got on League of Legends for the first time in 6 months, and there was a new champion released today that's a sewing champion with scissors, with the giant pair of scissors. So I'm just imagining like these super fancy, gigantic scissors that do not fit the situation at all. But Iggy.
I mean, I do have a knife block with a pair of scissors in it for cooking.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Now
Iggy,
you have
what's it
other
look
scissors.
like? What's it look like as the camera like focuses in on Iggy quietly getting a handle on these scissors?
Look over there. He's got kind of like the chef's jacket that he has on has ample like pockets and like for different things and sleeves. So he actually kind of just hides it like up his sleeve a little bit. Yeah.
Excellent. We just see the hand like slide over the desk, right? And the scissors vanish.
Yeah, it kind of scoops up.
Yep, that like little shimmer of like of gleam as they slip into your shirt sleeve. And so with that, I guess the four of you head into this office, and this woman does not rise from her desk or anything like that. We just see her sort of condescendingly assess each of you as you walk in. There's only the two chairs in front. Jonathan's in one. There's this kind of love seat on the other side of the room, but there's a shotgun next to it with like Kevlar armor on it, you know. And so as you all sort of file in, she's like, "Good evening. I was just telling your friend, Mr. Keeley here. My name is Senior Agent Perez. You can call me Agent Perez."
No, your Andersons are better at opening doors than they are interrogating people.
That's a worthwhile note. I've only started working with them recently.
Yeah, I can tell.
You are the pushy one that they spoke of earlier then, Lyra?
Probably.
So, I was asking your friend, though he says you are not so much friends as casual acquaintances of a book club, but you all have gone quite out of your way to retrieve him after he was picked up by agents at a crime scene, an active crime scene.
I
So
don't
I'm
know
just curious.
what he's talking about. We're best friends. Jonathan, I'm hurt. Really. We've been through so much together.
I don't let people get close to me. Sorry, I'll rethink our friendship in the future. I just thought we were book
fair enough.
buddies.
We'll come back. I'll take book buddies for now.
I think
Nick also, when he enters the room, not even realizing he's even doing it, has edged his way closer to that love seat. And
okay.
is still standing, but he's not sitting.
Got it.
Iggy's next to Nick.
Got it.
I love it that Iggy and Nick are at the love seat.
Escher's hanging out by the door.
Is there
Yeah,
like
sure.
a window? Are there? They're the big
Yeah,
windows,
there's.
right?
I want you to imagine like the desk with like a fish tank on one side of the room, the love seat like kind of in the back, and then behind the desk is like the window of the skyline, right, of all the neon lights of the city, right? And I think we see this kind of like the light kind of diffuse through the mist outside, you know.
Yeah. I think Lyra goes and like leans up against the fish tank.
Okay. So the like glow
Chekhov's
of, like,
fish
the
tank.
light- Yeah.
Yes.
We see the glow of the light kind of like washing around Lyra as she's leaning up near the fish tank towards the front of the room. And so I think that, Agent Perez is just like, well, you all got here very quickly after your dear friend Jonathan was picked up at the crime scene of the murder that occurred tonight. So I'm just curious, did you follow him here from there?
No, we couldn't have followed him.
I mean, we have phones.
Yeah, I called him. He said that's where you guys are going.
Public transit in the city is really good, so we were able to get here pretty good amount of time.
It is astounding to me the number of lies that you all just piled on top of one another as that explanation, but I understand. Noted.
No, we did not follow him here. I would say It wasn't
Wouldn't
like
you
a
have
follow.
noticed, you and your special agents Anderson, who seem to know everything?
Oh no, they don't know very much at all. I'm glad that
I'm
I'm
glad
in
we're in
charge.
agreement about that.
If you
They
know
are
where they're going, you don't need to follow them.
She says they're serviceable enough for the job at hand, but I do know things, and I know that Jonathan did not tell you where he was when he just answered his phone. And I know that you all came here very quickly, and he did not receive any other phone calls while he was in the car.
Oh
Heard
no,
his
that's
text
right. I
messages?
intuited where he was going. I
Is
said,
that a thing you can do now after the library, Iggy?
no,
Hmm.
actually. Iggy thinks for a moment. Well, no. Well, maybe. Well, I just sensed he couldn't speak freely. And I said, well, where's the one place he would be if he couldn't speak freely? He's with the agents. And where do we know that the agents are based? Divinity Estates. Boom, done.
Headquarters.
Yeah, and we were at a club together, and
Oh.
partying at a club. One of your friends leaves, you don't know where they end up. You feel like it's only responsible to look into those
You gotta
sorts.
check
those
in
sort of
on your
things.
friends.
Yeah,
Especially when, people are getting murdered in the streets.
Does your book club meet at the club often? Which club was it?
first time out.
I like to dance.
Me too.
I think she's like doing this.
No, we
very
meet
good.
at the library. I think Escher is like, you don't need to say where we were. Like shooting a look over.
The dance comment had Nick thrown for a loop for a moment. Now he's like, yeah. We normally meet at the library. I don't get to go out much, so we went out tonight. For my first time at a club.
Really?
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
It wasn't
confirm.
bad.
He did good.
Did you meet anybody interesting there? I ask because your friend seems intent on investigating the case that I have been assigned, and will you five keep coming up again and again? Now twice tonight.
What's the case you're investigating?
You are very committed to your stance, I will give you that much, Escher, but you know the case. It is the murders that have been occurring with the people from the library that all of you meet at for your book club.
We have a book club.
Your agents warned us that we might be next.
Yeah, what I
Yes.
don't really
So-
understand
so-
here is
so
why
we-
we can't cut all the bullshit and just work together on this.
Oh my word, your language.
Oh my word. This office, this situation. For goodness sakes, people are getting murdered. We're not the murderers.
I just want to point out again Lyra's personality identity. Please don't look at me while I'm saving the world.
Changed a little bit.
I just like to point that out. And so I think that, like, as she's staring right at you, and she's like, I'm sorry. I understand bullshit very well. Red tape slows down my job and has for many years. So why don't you cut to the quick of the matter then, Miss Barlow?
Shoot.
Well, you are the one with such pressing urgency. It seems perhaps you have questions.
Yeah, what do you guys know? Are
Yeah.
we next?
I do not know right now whether or not one of the five of you has killed these people. I am inclined to hold you, although I do not have enough cause.
Or
If we were the
authority.
killers,
Yet.
Why would we come here?
To get your friend from the book club to throw me off the scent.
Killers
To
would
examine-
show up to
Yeah.
rescue the other person that is part of the group.
Well, if one of you is doing this and the others are not aware, then you might commit to the part that you are playing. Perhaps you have just come here to assess the threat that you feel is opposing to you. What were you doing at the club?
What were
A
we
little
doing
bit
at the
of
club?
this, a little bit of
What kind
this.
of question is that?
It's the kind of question that I am asking a group of individuals who traveled from the library to the club to an active crime scene in the course of one night, and have crossed with my agents not once but twice.
And what do you have tying us to the
I
crime
haven't
scene
seen
at
your
the-
agents at all before I got here. So I
Not a lie. Well,
So
She says,
I'm sorry. I just thought you were going to share with us the evidence you have that ties us to the crime scene, at the time the crime was happening.
"Oh, I don't. If I had that, as I said, Mr.
Oh.
Bolton, you all would be locked up already. But your
Yeah.
associate was there looking to enter the crime scene after he knows that it was closed tonight."
I'm sure you realize that curiosity is not evidence.
"No, of course."
Okay.
Yeah, and so it sounds like everything you got is just kind of circumstantial on all of us.
Not even
It sounds like,
circumstantial is a kind of evidence. She has that doesn't even have any evidence.
Again, this is all such bullshit. We are all after murderers, and we're spending our time sitting in this stupid office while people could be getting killed right now. And none of us know about it. We want to find out who's murdering people because we don't want to get murdered and our lives got flipped upside down. We want to figure this shit out. It's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated, is it? That is a very concise way for you to present it. But the fact of the matter is that the five of you are not normal people anymore. Something happened.
Whoa. Judge much?
I was
Yes.
never a normal person.
That was very normal.
Your agents told us our lives are in danger. And if our options are for the agents to keep us safe versus us trying to figure out a way that we can stop us from being the next victims, we're going to, I think, choose the latter.
That's a wise choice, which is why I'm asking you now. Why don't you tell me everything that has happened between last month and now, so that I will have the necessary information to get to the bottom of this? Because your friend Lyra seems very intent upon discerning who this killer is, but the difference is that I have a badge and a gun and authority from the people in charge to do this thing. And the five of you are a cook, a doctor, a photographer, a filmmaker, and a homeless girl.
Chef, first of all. Second,
Yes, chef.
can I see your badge?
I'm sure you could if I were to show it to you.
Will you show me your badge?
I think she stares for a moment, the drawer unslides at the desk, and she reaches in and reaches up a badge, gold. It's got numbers on it.
Does it say what is a badge for? Because
Senior
it sounds like
agent
this was a specially organized task force. So I'm wondering where she's from.
They're all got them
She's
little
just
sheriff
showing
badges.
you the badge. Yeah, she's showing you the badge from across the table. You're way at the back of the room, standing next to Nick by the couch with the weapons.
Well, she holds it up, I'm assuming, for me to see. Then I'll move forward and take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you step away to Nick. You step up next to Jonathan, and you lean over and look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it says metropolitan police force, and then it's got some kind of designation or numbers on it.
Okay. That's interesting. Thank you. She's with the police force.
I am. I'm a detective with the police force.
Okay, detective. You said you've been investigating. You and this organization have been investigating these murders. How long have you been investigating this?
I think that my agents told you earlier tonight, but we were only just assembled. I have been pressuring the chief of police since the first killing, but...
Define
Apparently.
just assembled.
A few weeks, wasn't it?
She says it's just days ago.
Days ago. And
After
what have
the
you
third
learned so far?
killing.
Do you know how many killers there are?
Yes. I think so.
You think so, or you know so?
I'm sorry, which one of us has the badge? And she
Which
looks at
one
the
of us
badge.
apparently seems to have more
Keep pretending
information?
like we're not people too.
If you've
I
been
would
doing this
gladly-
for days and you don't have answers, and we've been doing this for a few hours and have more answers than you, maybe your badge actually means nothing, and you
And
should
maybe
try
we can
harder to
work
figure this
together.
out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend Nick does bring up a good point. Look, we honestly just started looking into this tonight. Maybe this happened to us a month ago, but tonight is the first night we've been active in this, so we don't know a lot more than you.
I will gladly account for my movements over the past month, especially on any specific nights that you have in question.
I don't have to answer any questions to anybody, and I'm not really sure why you guys are just giving this lady answers.
Because I have nothing to hide.
What are you trying to imply?
Oh, I realized when I said that the way I said it, it kind of does imply something.
Uh-huh.
Escher hasn't even been here all night. This is the first
Yeah.
time.
I think
Escher's
that-
been
I
around.
know.
Wasn't
I
even
think that-
there.
We see Agent Perez like stand up from behind the desk at this challenge from Nick, and the rest of you are all kind of talking. And she's finally like stood up. She puts the badge like kind of face down on the desk, and I think we hear like the footsteps as like you turn behind you. And Escher, you're like right near the door, and kind of like immediately right near the door, like shoulder to shoulder, Agent Anderson and Special Agent Anderson, kind of like all puffed up, you know.
Oh,
We see the third agent like further back in the room, and she's just like, the point that you are all making is well received. This investigation has been mishandled grossly until that I was placed on it. But I am placed on it now, and I have been given resources and authority, as I've explained to your friend Jonathan. So now, the badge gives me one thing, which is authority to ask the questions, and to not tell you anything I do not want. So, unless you start telling me why you're at the club, who you have been looking for, and what it is that you seem to have uncovered tonight, we're going to move forward in an unhospitable relationship.
It sounds like we should have our lawyers present the way that you're approaching us.
Is none of you a lawyer? You, perhaps? She's like looking at Lyra.
Nah. Listen. All right. We're at the library. We know that this is the library. This all started at the library, right? All this craziness.
We
So
don't
we-
even know it started at the library.
We assume. We also assume that there are more people at the library when this thing happened to all of us.
Mhm.
So us, being humans that care about other humans, said, hey, we should see who else was there and maybe warn them so that way they don't get freaking killed.
Is that why you were at the club?
Yes.
You could have just told me this.
You could have not threatened us and gone through this entire thing.
But I did threaten you, and I got what I want, so I guess it worked, huh?
Yeah, because we're the better people.
That might be true. Who did you speak with?
Your boss.
My boss.
Your benefactor.
She's like looking at the rest of you like, did you meet Mr. Erastus?
Nope.
I didn't.
Some of us did.
Is that who you were talking about? Archibald
Seems
Erastus is not
implication.
my boss. She says, I work for the city.
Mm-hmm.
I report to the chief of police, who reports to the mayor. Archibald Erastus is no more than a campaign contributor to them.
And an office contributor.
about right.
Yeah.
Office contributor.
Are we in the office that had Archibald Erastus' name on the door?
Yes, and
Yeah.
she says, fair enough, but that merely enunciates my point that you all are amateurs. You have no idea what you are doing, what you are finding, or what exactly you are looking for as you stumble your way through my crime scene. So I am merely looking to understand what it is that you know and what you've done that might have affected what happens next. Archibald Erastus has offered this suite and these accommodations to my superiors to ensure that we have somewhere to work from.
We chatted with a young man named Justin Tennick at the club because we found out that he was at the library the same night that we were. And we just wanted to see how he was doing. And he was very, very drunk. And, yeah.
That seems consistent with what I've read about him. Fair enough.
He's drunk.
It also seems like, I mean, talking to the guy, not Justin Tannick, Archibald, he's got a sister who's dating somebody that I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but he may be kind of in the realm of what you're looking for in terms of wasn't a human or was a human and may not now be completely, you know?
Did you get his name?
I mean, he ran right over me. I could point him out in a crowd for sure.
We don't have a name, though.
Leroy,
I know
maybe?
his name, but
Lyndon.
Escher's not going to say.
Lyndon.
Do you say it,
Lyndon.
Lyra?
Yeah,
Do you say
Lyra
it?
say it?
And she, like, her head snaps as you say it, like, now we're getting somewhere. This is
Escher
very
just,
helpful.
Like, throws their hands up in the air, like, why are we giving away all this information?
What are we gonna do with it?
Lyndon, I see. And so you're saying he's like you, Mr. Keeley? Like you all?
We don't know. Maybe.
I saw nothing that indicated that.
Just seemed like a big guy. Big,
Listen,
strong guy.
I am trying to do my job. There are dangers lurking everywhere in this city. I am trying to keep people safe from them. I do not know the five of you well. But when not once but twice names come up, as I pursue information, I must respond to it. I'm sorry if you think I am too threatening. My job is very serious. I take it very seriously. But this is a start. We want to keep you safe and alive.
That was honestly going to be my next question. Like, is this the start of you protecting us, or are you still, like, suspecting us?
It is both those things. I will not mince words. I cannot be sure who you are,
Right.
what motivations are behind you, and from what I understand, you all are going through changes. So, stay out of my way. Stay out of this investigation. Keep yourselves safe. Keep yourselves in positions that will not allow me to implicate you in what's happening, and we should not have to cross paths again until this comes to resolution.
Great, are we free to go?
And I think we hear, like, echoed from right behind Asher, like, yeah, are they? And then, like, the, like, shoulder thought, like, shut up, Anderson, you know? And so she just, like, scans over you, like, I can tell you that I know what you already know, that the people who were all killed were from the library. We expect that the killer was as well. More than that is not necessary for you. So you may go.
Iggy will say to her, I just ask that you consider the fact that you have not been encountering us in the course of your investigations until your agents told us that our lives were in danger. That's what spurred this sudden amount of action on our part. Just consider that. And then he will
Follow Escher out of the room.
Can I have... do you think that that's worthy of a convince roll, Iggy? Like, are you trying... Like, in other words, this theme has been pushed and we haven't made any rolls on it, but, like, all of you are working this angle of, like, yo, we're only involved because you got us involved. So the question is, like, are you trying to leave impact with her? Are you trying to change her disposition before you leave the room tonight? Because, like, you've certainly talked your way to the place of, like, you're out of the room. You know what I mean? Like, she's about to be like, okay, go. But if we want there to be, like, impact to what happened here positively, nope, you don't want to make it convince. You just say this. Okay. Yep. And so I open this up to the rest of you, right? As Iggy's echoing this point, like, I think she's looking you over like, I'll keep it in mind. I ask you merely to keep in mind that I have a job to do. I am good at my job, and I do not want people to die on my watch.
Well, if the next person does, we know you didn't.
It's very fair of you.
Also, if you need help catching this monster that's not these two Anderson guys, the five of us are more than capable. I'm just putting it out there.
Do you know how many other people have been affected by this?
By what's happened to you?
Yeah.
Too many.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
What time is it, Rich?
Like 4:30 in the morning.
Oh,
gosh.
I would like to go home, please.
Go
It's been a
to
long
bed.
night.
Long night.
It is
And so
past Iggy's
Escher's
bed.
waiting by the elevator.
I think it's like the tension in the room, right? We see Jonathan get up. Lyra walks away from the fish tank, right? Agents Johnson like part and allow you both to like pass through them. You open the door, heading back out into the hall. Iggy surreptitiously places a pair of scissors on a desk. And the five of you make your way back to the elevator, right? And I think that there's like the lingering shot of like the kind of fluorescent lights of the hall, this sort of neon glow coming out from inside the elevator, of the five of you like turning to look back down this hallway to like Agents Johnson kind of standing at the door eyeing you, you know? And I think like Special Agent Johnson is like, she puts his sunglasses on like a total douche. And so the five of you get into the elevator and it heads down. So is there a scene here as you guys are heading down the elevator, or are we regrouping someplace?
Lyra's just
Definitely don't wanna say anything
like,
from this elevator.
yeah, just
At
tired,
least anything
done.
relevant.
Okay. So we see the five of you like exhausted, worn, frustrated, flustered at various states as the elevator gets down. You head out into the street, and yeah, you stand there in front of like Divinity Estates at this early hour of the morn. Kind of traffic picking back up, the sun like beginning to kind of crest the sky, that first like kiss of sunrise through the silhouettes of the city. And so you all tell me, where are we going? What happens next? Are you all like breaking? There was a lot of discussion about what was going to happen.
It's guys, I need some sleep.
Yeah.
Same.
All right.
I
Maybe-
do feel once we're outside though, I feel since Jonathan has no idea about what we discovered at the crime scene, I do fill him in and
Oh,
tell
good,
him
yeah.
that like I don't know what they know up there, but from what we figured out, it looked like it was one killer who did this, but this killer, whoever it is huge. It tore this thing apart, like this person apart savagely, like stomped, stamped, and was like had to have been the size of like a truck.
Whoa.
The impact on a barrel nearby was indented to the point of nothing normal could have done that.
Yeah.
It was huge, whatever it was.
On my end, I mean, when I was talking to the cops, it also seemed like they didn't know that much either. Like from what I was gathering from them, I think they also kind of got boxed out of the crime scene by people like the people above, like that we just talked to. I think whatever investigation is going on, I don't think the cops know that much either.
We never did get that guy Lyndon's number, huh?
No, he wouldn't give it to me.
Feel both concerned for him and concerned for the people who might have a conversation with him.
I'm curious about Archibald and Anastasia. I think that they're both somehow have something going on themselves, and I would like to know what. Especially Archibald.
Well, I think that's something we have to find out another day because
Yeah.
it's 4:30. I definitely think I need some sleep.
Yeah,
So
I'm a little
let me
sore.
ask, are you all going home to your various places to sleep and rest?
Iggy would be.
I am.
So, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so check it out. I'm just going to point you guys to, I think that this is like where we come up against a new move, which is the montage. This is like to
Montage.
represent downtime, right? So I think that with that line from Nick of like, well, I don't, whatever we're going to do, I need some sleep. It's been a long night. And so the five of you break, heading your separate ways. So we'll talk about, you're going to come back together at some point when, I don't know, but Whenever your character has some downtime, this is on page 267 if anybody wants to follow along. Whenever there's some downtime, which is like now, right? This is the like not a scene here. This is you all like living through your lives for a minute. You have a bunch of options of stuff that you can do. So you could give attention to one of your logos themes. Tell everyone at the table like what you're doing to focus in on like that particular logos. Mark attention on it. You can work the case. You tell everybody what you're doing to work this case, and you gain 3 clues with a method and a source that's based on what you're describing here. So following up on Erastus, getting information on Lyndon, looking up like either of the siblings there, all of that could be work the case. You could explore your mythos. Tell everybody at the table which mystery you're trying to explore and how you do it. You gain 1 clue. And you're able to mark attention on that mysteries theme. You can prepare for your next activity, in which you basically give yourself some juice of like stuff you might be doing to get prepped, or you can recover from your last activity and get rid of statuses that you might have. The only statuses we had was Jonathan was bruised from getting knocked down, and Escher got dissed. But I think those statuses are both gone. So we can hand wave the last one. So, as you all like split and you go your separate directions, I think that like, you know, the camera tracks the 5 of you like heading apart, and then we see the beginning of the montage of like each of you walking into your separate domiciles and dwellings, kind of sliding into your space. Escher's flat, the Christmas lights, the pizza boxes, the dishes, Nick's cousin's like really nice apartment where we've been
sparsely
before.
decorated.
Yep. The cast, the acrobatic studio, there Lyra stays with her mentor. Iggy's spot, which we haven't seen before. What does Iggy's look like?
Just a nice 1-bedroom.
Nice. Simple.
Big kitchen.
And as we see Jonathan come into his dwelling, what does it look like? Where does Jonathan live?
It's like a hole in the wall under an overpass. Like you wouldn't notice it unless you you walked by knowing it was there. It's what he likes. No windows or anything. Everything in there is just covered in like newspaper clippings and very basic like cot.
I love it. I'm almost like picturing like the Scott Pilgrim house. I think like like weirdness, but okay. Okay. And so there, like, we see the 5 of you make your way in and kind of like breathe off the long night. And so you all tell me, is there a montage here? I think there is, right?
Yeah.
I'm good for montage.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Who
Even
wants to
Rocky
start?
had a montage.
Yeah.
Well,
Who wants to start?
Iggy's going to sleep.
Okay.
So I guess
Yeah.
that would be recover from your last activity, because even though it wasn't formally a status effect, he is probably exhausted too.
Well, no, this is fine, though. The montage isn't like just this 8 hours, right? Like, I don't know when you're going to get back together. It might be like the next night or something, but what else are you following up on?
I was actually going to suggest to everybody, if you don't have to be anywhere, that we regroup at the library at 1 p.m.
I probably have to be a place, but
Your workplace?
I can text and say that I'd be late.
Okay, I like this.
1 p.m. seems early.
Yeah, I think Lyra would probably
That's
be a
in,
little
like-
late.
It's in like 5 hours or something.
No,
that math's not
9
right. I
hours.
can't even do math. All right, 1 o'clock.
We have like a
Later.
group chat, and like Iggy is the one that's constantly like texting everybody and making
So,
sure that all the
1
plans are
p.m.
ready.
I
See you
mean, by 1
then.
p.m. standards, it's like we would go to sleep, wake up, and immediately regroup. And I don't think Nick is going to be able to do that.
So what time do you guys want to meet?
Night time.
This is going to become a vicious cycle of 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I prefer it not to.
No, we can't
We
stay
could
out
just text
till,
each other throughout the day.
we can't stay out till 4 a.m. every night. That's ridiculous. We're going to be
Sure we can.
Speak for yourself.
Mr. Adult over here.
There is a real diversity of scheduling here. Like, I imagine, like, Iggy's got a lot of work to do at night, and Nick's got to work during the day, and the other three of you are very, like, free-floating. Like, what's the problem? We hang out when it's dark out, you know?
That's why we're still on chapter 2 of this damn book.
Well, how about we just, we do one thing and then don't keep doing things. We just pick one thing to do every night and then call it.
The
Don't
thing about
have to
life,
stay up
Lyra, is that it's
you want to meet in the evening?
snowballs.
One and done.
6 p.m., 6 p.m. You'll meet at 6 p.m. Meet for dinner at the library. And so after this thorough debate is clarified amidst the late sleepers and the real jobbers, everybody, you all break. So yeah, you guys talk to me. What are you doing in this day, in this next day? Is there anything you want to focus in on with your montage?
Well, then Iggy is going to the library at 1 p.m. and he's working the case.
Okay, Iggy's going to work the case. So let's start with you then, since you just jumped out there. So what are you doing to work the case?
He is going to ask for the help of the librarian to see what books those who have been killed have recently checked out from the library.
Ooh. Okay, ask me the question again one more time.
What books have those who have been killed checked out from the library? What books were checked out from the library by those who had been killed?
Yeah, there you go.
Gosh, that's a very big meaningful list. Okay.
I'd say in the last month.
Sure. So, Okay, I think you're able to get a pretty comprehensive list of books that we'll be able to refer back to as, and I think that the move here is I'm going to give you a story tag of the list of books. So just add a tracking card to the bottom of your sheet there, Iggy, for a story tag of the list of books from people that were killed, one. And I can tell you a couple of them offhand. That the one was already a series of children's books. I think we figured that out, of the woman who actually ended up getting killed tonight. The one from the earliest case, it was actually a whole series of books about travel and travel destinations, locations, places not in the city. The other two I'm going to have to circle back on. So that's one of your clues. You get two more.
Oh.
You get 3 whole clues. You could potentially save them and ask questions later when they become relevant, as long as they thread back to you being able to get this information from researching here and now. And then the other flip side is you could use it as a reverse clue. You could tell me something that you find out, and I will tell you how it's relevant.
Come back to me.
Okay, you're going to hold the other 2. So Iggy's working the case at the library from early in the afternoon. What's everybody else doing?
I'll probably do the give attention, because I will be going to work. So that will be my training tag. So,
nice. Of course.
So yeah, I will be at work for most of the day, and during my downtime, I am texting with my mom, apologizing for not making it the night before, while my sister is texting me, just saying you're so full of shit.
Yeah. I love it. So we just see Nick moving through the hospital, dealing with stuff patients, phone, text, charts, lunch, big salad, patients, text, phone, paperwork.
I'm begrudgingly eating the salad because I don't like it.
Okay, cool. That's Nick giving attention to one of his logos. What about everybody else?
I think Escher's gonna work the case from home on their laptop, trying to find out anything they can about Archibald and Anastasia.
Ooh, so you have 3 clues, Escher, that you may ask me questions about. And again, you could use reverse clues potentially if you want to tell me what the clue is, and I can contextualize it. But what do you want to know?
Where did their money come from?
Ooh, great question. Very like classic, like old money. They both were the heirs, the 2 only children of, Dominic Erastus, who, yep, who was a real estate mogul. Yep. Yep. Did I hit some important buzzwords there?
And have they been in this city a long time?
Their whole lives. Dominic owned a whole ton of property here. They were both born here. They've been like, relevant and prominent since they were little kids. Prestigious private school. Archibald, star athlete. Anastasia, probably also a star athlete, actually.
Did we establish if they're twins or like separate?
They're not twins. Nope, they were not like identical twins or anything like that.
And now do they just like live off their money? Like we know Archibald owns Club Delphi, right? Like that is known.
Yep. So Archibald has created like many thriving and successful businesses in his own right. Despite the inheritance, he has very much made his own money and kind of like doubled his family's worth through like his kind of business enterprising in the last 15 years. Where Anastasia is very much like a professional philanthropist, and she just seems to like spend her family's money at an alarming rate for a series of things that I think like might ring for Escher in terms of like climate change awareness and like these social welfare programs, a series of like scholarships for impoverished kind of kids and stuff like this.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we see Escher just like cranking along on the laptop, right? The like light streaming through the windows of the flat or whatever. And you're able to like pull up a great deal, right? The 75 Erastus tabs as you're like digging deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Cool. So that's Escher and Iggy working the case. That's Nick focusing in on his profession.
And then I think Jonathan is going to go home and I think he's going to explore his mythos. I think a lot of what Perez was saying kind of struck a core, her like asking how much he can control this. So I think he's setting out to kind of like feel it out a little bit more, see what he can actually control, but not his wings as much that we've kind of brought up. I think he's more looking for the mystery kind of that we're looking for is what is the danger behind the danger. So he's kind of trying to use his divination, like meditating to sense and see if like he's trying to push this. Like he knows this has worked very like in minute forms before, but I think he's trying to open and see like, can I divine more than just what is about to hit me in the face?
Excellent. Okay, so you get to mark attention on that theme. and then you have one clue that you get to ask me as far as like digging into this mystery. So I know you just gave me like a pretty like layered question, but in terms of what's the danger behind the danger, is we're just seeing you kind of like literally like meditate and focus in. Is this kind of the thing? Is this Jonathan like really out of place? Like, what's it look like? Is he sort of...
Yeah, I think it is kind of strange for him. He's not a meditator usually, so I think it takes a lot of like focus to like sit in one place, eyes closed, and really be like forcing himself to like think and focus in on this. And then, yeah, so I guess the clue he would be interested in, or I feel like I think maybe more of it, since it is kind of like Perez pushing him, I think he's kind of trying to sense is like, is she kind of the danger behind the danger? Is like, does that make sense? Okay.
Yes. So I think that like this is what I'll give you. This one's a little bit like nebulous, but so while she is very much dangerous to you, as she made clear, she's not like the top of the food chain. And she mentioned very explicitly that like she reports to a police chief who reports to the mayor, and that Erastus is a benefactor, and so it makes you like question like what's beyond even any of that. And I think that the answer I give you is like so she's definitely not. It's hard to identify like how far does it go? Does it go all the way back to Erastus? Like where is the like point here? Where is the interest coming from? Right? In you all, I think, right? I'm like identifying as this is the danger of like them hunting you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so I think it's like not very clear, except that like she seems driven and like she's doing her job, and there's these three other individuals explicitly above her that like, where is it coming from? Right. How much pull does Erastus have over the mayor? Is the mayor driving this? Is the police chief driving this? These are kind of questions that come out of the answer, which is no. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that definitely does. That it kind of confirms some of the feelings that he was having, and then makes a lot of sense with what we had learned tonight.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, this is me like getting a feel for like how to use these things, right? But like the clues are really interesting, and they're like you do this, or you could give them a vague answer. It's like,
vague answer, you say?
Yeah.
I'll take one of those.
It's kind of a vague answer. So Lyra, what are you doing in this next day before you all re-meet?
So Lyra is also going to explore one of her mythos.
Ooh.
Her divination, and here's one. Are the other rings out there?
Ooh, is anybody paying attention out there? This is a big clue.
Yes.
Giant hit.
So yeah, I think that she like goes home and she like rests, like she crashes on the couch, like of trying to avoid like Margaret at all costs.
Yes, I bet.
And then she just kind of sneaks back out and goes. I think she just like goes back like behind the studio and just starts kind of walking through the alleyways, like not going too deep where like it's gonna get super dangerous, but like just staying in a place where she can go invisible and like shift and kind of like stay there and just kind of walk and sense and like see if she gets any like if I don't think she's had a period of time where she has just like sat in that space of like that like other side kind of and like searched, because I think that it is a little bit scary for her, and she like, you know, she's a little bit wary of it, but I think she does like now that things are really picking up, she wants to explore this a little bit more.
Okay, I love it. So we watch Lyra like slip out the back door and kind of like fade, and we just kind of follow this nothing that is her walking, and then we occasionally see like the footsteps in the water, right? We're like trailing as you move along, and so she's just kind of like walking through the streets, like walking through the quiet places of the city, like kind of vanished out, wraithed out, and her mind like reaching. And so you're explicitly the question that you're asking is like explicitly what for the clue?
I guess.
Like the
I don't know,
mystery is, are there other rings out there?
Yes. So I think that it's not like that question, but I think that she is like, does she sense anything that like reminds her of her own like aura as she's walking around, I guess?
Yeah, okay. I dig it. So I think that as she's like moving around through the city, this kind of wraith-like form washed over her, like invisible to the people around her, really embodying that, like, don't look at me while I'm trying to save the world. I think that, again, this is so tough. I don't want to just give a vague answer,
No, yeah,
but
fine.
it's a big question. And so I think that she feels threads drawing her to the rest of the city. There are like definitely things in this city that are tethered to whatever it is that has changed her. Whether they be rings or not is a question. But I think that she feels this familiarity of like this kind of like these ancient ties that tether her to these things that she doesn't even know what they are yet.
Okay.
Is that fair? Is that a fair answer?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So I also mark attention on this, right?
Yeah.
All right. That's 3 attention.
What? Which one?
Divination.
Oh boy. So this is an exciting moment.
Yes.
So.
Oh, that's funny. I totally did it on the one that I didn't want to do. That's hysterical. But I think I have all of them pretty sussed out. But so this is for divination, but
so yeah, for the folks out there in the chat or whatnot, thank you for reporting that, Kurt. For anybody who's watching, like this is improvement. This is how it happens in this game. You get attention for calling in your weaknesses. You can draw attention like now, or when we geek out during the credits, during a montage. So Lyra has gotten 3 attention on one of her theme books, so it's going to advance. The options are you can add another power tag, you can add another weakness tag, or you can change or rewrite your current weakness tag. Because we see like the weakness tags are important, so rewriting them might make them more useful or more difficult, right? And then there's a whole list of like other options that you have for each one of the theme books. So Lyra's increasing her divination. So what do you got?
So I went with what is it? A fighting chance. So you're more than just a bucket of knowledge or a hub of heightened awareness. When push comes to shove, you can fend for yourself. So I can choose a power tag from Expression or Bastion.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is really cool. So Lyra's going to like dip into the, just for people again paying attention, the Expression theme books are going to be like outward things, kind of like power generation. It could be laser eyes, could be a lot of different things. Bastions are very much about defensive, impregnable, like you can't get at me sort of stuff. So Lyra gets to like pull from these other much more like kind of combat oriented things to add a power tag to her divination. So what do you got?
So, and I don't know. My thought was, then maybe it's not so much like this, like, you know, like there's a lot of like lasers and, you know, crazy stuff. But I'm thinking, just from one of the tags, just going with the question A, what is the most common way you use your mythos to affect the world? And I think it's this aura of terrible power.
Okay.
So I think that when she decides to use a power, she's in danger, there are things happening, she exudes this terrible like heaviness, this like feeling, this overwhelming feeling of like dread and hopelessness.
Okay.
Terrify people or just
Lyra, sunshine all day. I love it. So you tell me what the term is there, because there are a bunch of really powerful words you just threw out. Is it like
Aura of terrible
dread?
power.
Aura of terrible power.
Which is a quote, actually.
There's a hint for anybody out there. I have very explicitly blown up one of the mythos of our players tonight, and you guys are getting big Lyra hints right now. So, cool. Okay. Lyra has acquired an aura of terrible power. I'm excited. I'm not scared. Who's scared?
Between the question and the quote, I feel like there's clues.
Yes. Big clues. Big clues. So, you're mute, Kurt. Okay.
I'm disappointed you didn't add free vodka as like a power tag.
That's for Iggy to add. That's an Iggy move. So the day goes by. We see this montage cutting through, like Jonathan pacing through the apartment until he can finally compose himself and focus out. Escher's fingers flying across the keyboard like a trained pianist. Screens flashing through. We see Iggy leaned over the table referencing these lists that are being brought out by Zelda the librarian. Nick in his white coat and scrubs carving through the hospital phone, papers, patients, and Lyra the wraith wandering through the city streets, reaching out to perceive that which is not there, an all-seeing eye in a sense. And with that, the hour draws nigh as 6 o'clock comes through, and we see the front of the library. Do we just cut into all of you being there? Is there anything important from the arrival? Are there any important like little scenes of just a couple of you at once?
Iggy's already there.
Oh yeah, of course he is.
I think Lyra's coming in from the alleyways, so she's coming in from the back.
Okay. Lyra comes in through the back. Yes.
As 6 o'clock approaches, Iggy's kind of got his senses out for when somebody is approaching the door.
Oh no.
So I think you're like aware as Lyra comes in. You know that she's there before she comes out from behind the stacks.
Oh, but did she come like before they get into the library?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So you know as she's at the door.
Oh yeah. Just the moment you go to open library door, Iggy just suddenly like opens it for you from the inside.
Oh, Iggy! Oh my gosh! Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Glad you could make it.
You been here a while?
Yeah, like 5 hours.
Whoa. Okay. Cool, I guess. What are you doing?
Oh, I was looking up if there's any information about like what kinds of books the people who had been killed had been maybe checking out recently to see if there was any themes of anything we could learn about them.
Okay, cool. Sick. Yeah, that's great.
There's nothing about...
That's great.
He kind of says with a disappointed voice, there's nothing about bricklaying.
Maybe you just haven't found it yet. Lyra like pats on the shoulder.
Is that correct, Rich? There was no books about bricklaying?
No books about bricklaying. No books about bricklaying. Nope.
And nothing about like
Straw.
the history of straw.
History of straw.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
But lots of children's books, which is potentially fitting.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's not far behind. I think he probably wanders in at the tail end of this conversation. May be allowed in by Iggy. Or let it.
Yeah, suddenly, like, Lyra like looks elsewhere, and then she looks to where Iggy was. He's not there anymore, and he's like, he's opening the door for Jonathan just as he's about to come to the library.
I love it. I love the scene of like you open the door and you and Lyra like walk through the stacks back to like your familiar table, and as Lyra turns to like kind of put her stuff down, she turns around and Iggy's gone, and like Iggy's at the back with Jonathan. Yep.
It's like opening the door for Jonathan. Oh, you're here too. Good.
Yeah, 2 days in a row. Yeah, I think he just walks back. He's just like not chit-chatting as much.
Asher will arrive at 5:59.
Asher,
and if Iggy's at the front door, Asher's gonna be like, "It's an automatic sliding door. What are you doing?"
Iggy gets there at 5:58 and 55 seconds. And just as Esther is approaching the door, they see it open, and Iggy's there. Hey.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, come on
Thanks for standing by the door, I guess.
I wasn't exactly, but
okay.
Everybody's here except for the doctor. Nick.
I knew who you meant.
Nick is definitely like 10 minutes late. And as he's outside the door on the phone, and you can just talking, and he's like, "Look, I said I'm sorry, okay? No, look, I'll come by this weekend. How about that? I'll come by this weekend. We can all get together. It'll be fine. I'm sorry I couldn't make it last night. It's just I had a thing. Yeah, I always have. Okay. Look, I don't want to get into this right now. I have to go. Okay, I'll just come by this weekend. It'll be fine. Yeah, all right. I gotta go. Bye." And I hang up as I go then to open the door, and presumably.
Oh no! Nick turns around, like getting off the phone, and like Iggy's like right there.
Iggy,
doctor,
how much of that did you hear?
Pardon?
I'm just gonna assume you didn't hear any of it. That's not cool. You can't do that, man. Especially on private phone calls. Come on, let's just go. I'm having a rough day.
Iggy turning into like the moaning Myrtle of the
I love it.
The offer to cook dinner for your family still stands.
I don't know. I'll have to think on this.
Just think about it.
Maybe if you cook it, I can bring it. They might like that.
You need someone to serve it too. So
might be a little weird. Maybe. We'll see. As he's very clearly flustered and distracted and heads on in.
And I think as you guys are heading in the door, Nick, you feel the buzz in your pocket of your phone, and you check your text quickly, and like it's a text from your sister, like, "You better be there," like Mom said you're gonna be there this weekend. You better show up, right? Like double down. And so the five of you gather around your table in the library, the night outside. And I think that we hear like the footsteps of the librarian Zelda as she's kind of moving around between the stacks. It's a pretty big place, but I don't know that I imagine it as like the New York like library, right? Public library. Like it's big, but it's not like a massive kind of museum. There's a couple of like stories. There's certainly like a basement, this back door. But as you all sit in this space, it's enough for you to like you hear her in the distance moving around,
Can I use another one of my remaining clues,
Please.
Rich, to look through the day's newspaper just to see if there was anything strange reported overnight, either yesterday or in the overnight?
Yes. Was there anything strange reported about the killing last night?
Well, no, because the killing wasn't... Because we were at the library... when the killing had already taken place. I'm just saying, like, since, like, has anything of unusual note taken place in the last 12 hours?
No, just the murder is like the big thing on the front
that's
page,
still-
right? The murder is like the overwhelming front page. Amelia Rogers, like, yeah.
And that was 2 nights ago, right?
No,
It was
it had
last night.
happened last night. Like, the
Last
idea
night.
was you all found out about it, like, before it even hit the news or anything like that. The stupid agents,
Right.
like, tipped you off before it was public info.
Right, but I thought we were at the library like at 6 p.m. So and I thought it happened at nighttime.
It happened, like, right around then, literally,
Okay.
like, just kind of right before. Yeah, evening
Gotcha.
would have been better.
So
you have one more clue left if you want to burn it now. I know that.
Amelia Roberts was the one who'd been checking out children's books.
Yes. Yep. She had taken out a bunch of children's books. There was.
Has Erastus any books on his record?
Great question. Is that your final clue?
Sure.
No.
Otherwise, I just let it
No.
dissolve.
Erastus definitely has no books out on his record from this place. Neither of them. I'll give you that
Rich people
much.
don't go to the library. They buy books.
It's true. Ship this
People
book to
buy
my
libraries.
house,
They
please.
don't participate in the share economy.
Well, we're all here, so we have like a plan that we were gonna enact.
We did?
We did.
I think he's asking.
I don't know about you
Yeah, I'm
guys.
asking.
Yeah, but I kind of want to know more about Erastus and his sister.
They haven't checked out any books in a long, long time. Like ever
Interesting.
from this library.
I don't know. I just wouldn't mind getting some more info. The problem is, I don't know how easy it is to get close to them. Anastasia might be the easier of the two.
It seemed like Erastus would be easy to get to at the club.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk to him.
Anastasia seems to love a good cause.
Yeah.
She seems to be the type that likes to feel like she's doing something useful
Yeah.
with purely her money.
Yeah.
So are you saying we should set up like a honeypot of some sort and
Whoa.
lure her in? I'm not.
Like a charity version of a shell corporation? What are you talking about?
something like that. I mean, I don't know if this is what she likes. We can get her in, get to know her.
Right. Because, yeah, I don't really want... He, like, had something where he could, like, tell that I was, like, in the room when I came to find you, Jonathan, at the club.
That's true. He had some tech thing, even though you were
Yeah.
invisible.
He had a
knew you-
little ding, like, thing. I don't know. He
Ding
knew...
thing.
He didn't know exactly where I was. He didn't look at me, but he knew I was there.
Are we assuming that they're directly involved in the killings?
I'm not.
I don't think they're involved in the killings. I think that they're just involved.
I mean, that could be the case,
People with
but
money always are.
I mean, what do we hope to get by investigating them further or questioning them? I mean, shouldn't we? We're really concerned about this. I mean, wouldn't it just make sense to stake out the docks each night or something? Not that I
don't
really
feel
want
good
to
about.
volunteer to do that, but
I mean,
I don't feel good about talking to Anastasia. I feel like word will get back to her brother if we do.
To Archibald.
which would get back to Perez, which will get back
They-
to whoever
but they
else
have
is up
some
that
sort
chain.
of- they have some sort of tension though. Like he doesn't like that she's hanging out with Lyndon, and like why is she hanging out with Lyndon? Like they started seeing each other like about a month ago.
I forget. Have I?
Like,
Sorry.
when
out of
it
character.
happened.
Yeah.
Have I voiced out of character my suspicions or no? I don't remember.
I don't think
know
so.
if you
No,
have.
I
Hit
don't
us.
think you have.
Oh, okay.
I thought didn't we talk about it a little bit last time?
Well, I couldn't remember if we did it in the game.
I think we did it in character because we were talking about Justin, and then we started talking about Lyndon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lyndon could be a connection. What I saw at that crime scene and what I felt briefly when we collided, there's definitely something in there. I don't know if he did it, but from the impact of that punch he threw, it might be a possibility.
Yeah, I also wanted to tell you guys I did some exploring earlier today, and I can sort of feel the others to some degree if I really concentrate.
Like others like us?
Yeah. Or at least some familiar feeling.
Whoa.
So I don't know. I think that this happened to us at the library, but I think it possibly happened other places too. And I think, I don't know, I can't not think that like Anastasia or like Archibald have something going on. The ego on this guy. The ego. And like his build, like I get it. He's like a rich dude. He wants to like keep up appearances, but like, and Rich, like correct me if I'm wrong, but he had like flowing blonde hair, right? Like this big, like almost like lion's mane of hair.
Yeah,
this like big dude.
He's very big, right? Tall, broad, like muscle bound, and like the hair. It's one of these things where like it was not very like functional, right? It's like the like flop of Fabio hair that's like clearly like meticulously manicured to look like that perfect on the suit. You know, the whole thing.
Yeah, like, and all of a sudden Anastasia's hanging out with this Lyndon guy who's like clearly got something going on.
Yeah, Lyndon, like, you know, cowboy hat, jeans, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of combat boots. You know, he was also like a jacked dude, kind of, but not in the same like ostentatious way. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, maybe hanging out with the kind of people who go to Club Delphi got old. She wanted something else.
But she's still like around there though. Like, just so I don't know. I feel like knowing more about. I think that Erastus has so much access to like whatever information he wants. And
100%.
I feel like Anastasia might be just close enough, and there might be just enough contention there that if we play our cards right, maybe she could be kind of an insider without.
I'm all for trying to talk to Anastasia. I just worry while we're doing that, someone else could be getting killed on the docks. Well, I guess what was it? Chief Agent? What was her name?
Senior Agent.
Senior Agent Perez.
But if Senior Agent Perez does their job, I guess that wouldn't be a problem. But, you know, call me a skeptic. I just feel like they might not be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Do you think the cops might not get the job done?
No.
I'll give you that idea.
She was kind of horrible, wasn't she? She was like threatening us, and she's calling us amateurs. I'm sorry. Who knows about supernatural weird shit happening to people? I didn't know there was professionals at that. I didn't know being a police officer made you 100% a professional and knowing about supernatural crazy shit.
I also need to shift and remember Nick is not Kevin for a moment. And Nick is going to comment at the same time and just be like, I mean, to be fair, she did say, though, that she's working for the mayor, the police chief. There's probably a lot of pressure coming in on her from other outside sources. I don't know. I mean, I don't like her, but I could definitely feel like she could be under pressure.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting. I also had a pretty active day. You know, trying to see the future and whatnot. And
trying to see the what now?
I'm trying to grasp knowledge that's beyond the perception of time and bring it back. And I don't know. I don't fully get what's going on, but I get a real strong sense that she is not kind of like the head of the food chain. She is not nearly the danger as much more as Erastus and the mayor above. I really get that vibe more so than she's the one to watch out for.
You know, between you, Jonathan, saying that you're trying to see the future, and Lyra, you saying you can reach out and like sense others possibly like us. Is that a thing you guys can do?
Not well, but
I mean, we haven't known each other super long, but I guess we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah,
does any of us really know what we're capable of, or what each other is capable of?
Yeah, should we maybe have our own conversation about that?
Here's the thing. Perez has much more on us than we have on Erastus. We're just we're working off of even less concrete information, so we can't be upset at her for being suspicious of us if we're suspicious of Erastus.
No, I'm not upset at her. I just think that they all have handled this in such the wrong way, and approached us.
Didn't she threaten to disappear you, Jonathan?
Yes,
I don't think we were there for that, though.
You definitely were.
Okay, well, is that the sort of thing you might bring up and tell your friends?
Well, acquaintances.
Yeah, excuse me, your acquaintances.
Book buddies.
Our book buddies. All right.
Yeah.
Look, I don't disagree. She's scary, and she is not above threatening us. But I feel like we met a lot of scary people tonight, and she seems like the only one that also wants to solve these crimes.
Yeah.
A lot of the other scary people seem to want to have nothing to do with us. She wanted a lot to do with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's why, these people would pull their heads out of the sand and see that we're trying to be helpful. I get it. I don't pretend that I'm the most trustworthy looking person, but she seems like she wants to get the job done. We're trying to get something done. We joined forces, shit would get done.
I mean, under normal circumstances, I'd make an argument for professionals handling situations that they're sort of the professionals of, but I don't think any of us are professionals in this sense.
Exactly.
Whatever's happening with what you're saying is the city beyond the library. That's, first of all, insane to think about. And two, none of us are capable of handling this. So you would think that these people would want all the help they can get understanding a situation that they don't know.
And I think it's as Nick finishes that, we hear bzz, 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 and Escher's bag is vibrating. Bzz, bzz,
I was gonna ask about
bzz,
that.
bzz.
Okay. I pull out. Is it the phone that I took?
Yeah, as Escher opens the bag and starts looking past all the devices, it's the phone that you took, the flip phone. It's bzz, bzz, bzz,
Right, we have a
bzz.
bug on us and we didn't even think about it.
Oh, God.
Mhm.
You brought it into the hideout.
I feel like we should answer that, right?
Yeah, put on speaker.
Does the flip phone have speaker?
do you open it up and turn it on the speakerphone? It does. There's a speaker button. It's old.
Sure.
And so I think we see Escher flip the phone open and hit the button.
Push the little green phone button.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I just think you hear this voice I heard you took this phone from my friend. What the hell's wrong with you people? That guy's homeless. And I think that is where we have to leave our episode for tonight.
Brutal.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll pause right here. Short show this week. We got to lose some people early. This is the part of the game where we geek out to the credits.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, what is this session was really, this is like, having watched so much Critical Role, I feel like this is one of those sessions where it's like the RP heavy one, right? Like it's not the bro, like it's not the combat, it's the RP one, and that was a lot of fun. Sorry, I was geeking out in a different way over the credits just now.
I'm all about geeking out.
I'm right there.
Yeah, I'm all about geeking out. For me, it was delightful because I sat here and listened to you all talk for most of the last 2 hours without saying all that much. And Agent Perez is really rad, but I also feel like this has got to be so frustrating. Agent Perez is like so frustrating.
I love her though.
So I hope that's cool. Okay, geeking out to the credits. We all pretty much know what we want to do, or we have an idea. Let's start with Sheldon because he's got pressure on him.
Okay, sure. Let's think. So I think which character had the most meaningful interaction with him this session? It's tough because I feel like everyone came in and helped to like, I mean, literally rescue him. But I feel like, again, it felt more like Lyra was kind of backing him up a lot, that you were the one coming in and like really going at Perez and making sure, like, very much mama bearing, being like, no, not in my friend group. Like, you don't come at my friend. And so I felt like that was like a big moment for between those two, of him just being like, all right, yeah, she's fearless in this environment.
There is no question. So to that end, Jonathan gets to take a help point with her. Cool. That's Jonathan. Who's next?
I would say the crew grew as a group in that we all faced this cop together.
Yes.
And nobody explicitly threw anybody under the bus. Some people gave up some information that I might not have shared. But, you know, we all, like, stood in the face of authority together and walked out together.
So you want to mark attention on the crew tag, on the crew theme?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's fair. Everybody mark attention on the crew theme. You guys did hold up under pressure. I was ready for that to get very violent.
Yeah.
So was Kurt, apparently.
It's because Kurt knows me.
So was Nick.
Well, he didn't know he was doing it, but he did.
Yes.
Just gonna move on over next to the shotgun. Thank you.
Next to the shotgun over here.
So that's Escher and Jonathan. Who's next?
So I guess I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I did strain last time.
Yep.
So I can't really do that again.
Well, so you could talk about what else is under strain. The idea of, like you could do it again if you think there's a different theme book that's under strain. But essentially by doing it last time, we identified which one of your themes, your personality, don't look at me while I'm like trying to save the world, is the one that's got the most pressure on it, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't make any hard choices today. It doesn't actually get crack or fracture. We just like know that's the one to pay attention to. You could do it again if that's changed or shifted.
No, I don't think so. I'm too just gonna go with I think give attention to our crew theme because I think I'm on like the same page as Escher/Zed. I think that we kind of like tackled a kind of a big problem. Like again, that could have gone really badly.
I agree. Yeah.
And we handled it pretty well, and we all we got out of there. Like she didn't keep us there. She didn't take us hostage.
Mm-hmm.
We all got to. Yeah, we all got to go home and sleep, and then we all got to come back, and we all took the time, especially like Iggy, Escher, like going out and
digging
we're in this like together. Like I think that we're settling into this as a team, and
Okay, so we're going to mark attention again on the crew theme. I just want to double down on that scene of like, for me, I don't want to shove the rules down your throat, but I was trying to like articulate that point of like, I think you guys role played it really well and you were able to role play your way out. Maybe I should have made you roll some convinces, but ultimately like you handled her well. And so it's just about like how much impact there was. Like you talked your way out of the room, right? But you certainly didn't leave like entrusted or anything like that. So, okay, so that's you three, which brings us to just Nick and Iggy, right?
Yeah, I speaking of, I would say the meaningful interaction I had was with Iggy at the end of the session outside
Yeah.
the door, because him being outside the door, funny enough, I feel like this is actually putting strain on Nick, because he's wondering how much of the conversation Iggy heard, and he's nervous about that. And so this actually is, funny enough, going to give me, I now have a help and a hurt with Iggy on my card.
The help and the hurt are really cool like that, where like they don't like subtract or add, like, you know, like you can have both, right? And we haven't used a lot of help and hurt points, but keep these in mind as your friends, the rest of us are doing things. You can always spend them like juice to back people up. So I dig it. There's a little strain from Nick's perception with his relationship with Iggy. And so, yeah, Iggy, where's that leave you?
Iggy's taking a hurt with Escher. Escher was the only person who did not appreciate Iggy getting the door for them. In fact, they were kind of rude about it. And he was just trying to be polite. So
Escher kind of rude? No. Not like them at all.
I dig it. So you're going to
not have the charisma that other characters I play might.
I love it. So Iggy, you're going to take a hurt point with Escher. Okay. Got it. That was us geeking out to the credits. I'm really glad you all enjoyed this. I felt like a little worried about how much ground we covered, but like I really am just having fun lingering in the moments, right? You all tell me if we need to like put our foot on the gas a little bit, right? But I love this. I love this like slow burning, kind of smoldering mystery. Anyway.
Yeah.
Last week was like a gas week.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true. A lot went down last week. It's very true.
But then I really love the role play in this week, and us getting to do a montage and kind of getting to see new elements and aspects of this game. Like I feel like every session we're learning more and being able to do new stuff.
Oh, I totally agree. I was really excited to get to the montage, right? Because you can see, we can all start to see, for anybody watching too, how all this stuff kind of interacts, right? The room to like dig into your logos, identities, your mysteries, like doing that stuff during the montage, right? And it's this notion that like the game is cinematic, right? We don't need to track every beat, and we'll get better at it, but like we're here for the important scenes, but other stuff is happening, right? And we want to like keep us all dialed in, but the more we're able to kind of like marry the mechanics and the narrative, like I think this game's really going to cook the further in we get. So yeah, cool. To that end, short week. I can't wait for next Sunday. Thank you all. Where can we find everybody? Sheldon, what's up with you? Anywhere special?
Yeah, you can find me at Sheldum on Instagram and Twitter. It's just my name, but dumb. And my wife and I also do a podcast on British film and television called The Anglo Files. We put out an episode that is about the latest Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. It's nominated for an Academy Award. And Shaun the Sheep is incredible because it's like animation that you don't need dialogue. So if you like sci-fi, this movie has more sci-fi references than anything I've seen. It's so funny and cute and nominated for an Academy Award. Highly recommended. It's on Netflix.
I can't believe that's still
Noted.
happening.
I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check that out.
Right?
Wow.
Kurt, how about you?
My stuff's in the crawler. Next person.
It sure is. Sure is. Taylor, how about you?
Rania422 on Twitter, Rania422 _ on Instagram, and everything's out there.
Go check out Rania. She's doing cool stuff. Stickers. Zed, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Hard Rock Hope anywhere you can find me. If Hard Rock Hope's not there, neither am I. Podcasting about Final Fantasy VII. Nope, 8.
8.
Still playing Final Fantasy VII.
You wish it was 7.
Me too. Podcasting about Final Fantasy VIII with Josh. Those episodes drop on Saturdays over at Push Show Recaps. That's about
love it. I'm finally caught up. I'm finally into the 8 territory. Kevin, how about you?
At Kev Mahadeo on Twitter. You can also find me at the Mahadman on Instagram. That's also mahadman.com, which is my website. You can check out PSR, Post Show Recaps, where I have a number of podcasts going on. And my usual plug for this week, I'm going to plug a terrible show, but it's so entertaining to watch on Netflix, season 2, The Circle. What an insane piece of programming.
How dare you?
Like, as a Survivor fan, it's so different. But like, oh my god, that show is great. Circle, message this. Check out The Circle. It's so funny. Circle emoji, hashtag emoji. Just the nonsense they spout on that show was incredible. But yes, that would be my plug for this week is The Circle on Netflix season 2.
I have not watched the
four
first one.
episodes
I've been
up.
holding out, so I'm gonna now like make note of it. But also, I have to go check out Farmageddon, Shaun the Sheep. I'd never heard of it before. I feel highly informed. You can find me Warfrat1625 on Twitter. I'm DM Philly on YouTube. All these VODs will get archived there. I'm podcasting sometimes at post show recaps. If you sign up for the post show recaps Patreon, there's a Dungeons and Dragons in Discord is the show that I am on sometimes. The last episode was a thing that we did 7 days ago today. I left this show and went to a resurrection ritual for my dead elven wizard Andromedes Vesk, where 30 of my closest friends got into a voice call and performed a critical role level ritual to restore me from the dead, and there was much crying and much rejoicing, and it's incredible. If you want to hear 7 people do some really like incredibly unfathomably emotional role playing, go check that out, because in 30 years of role-playing games, that's like an elite moment for me that I will not soon forget. So I just thank everybody who contributed to that. For that, I say to everyone in the chat who stopped by and subscribed and followed and just hung out and talked to us, thank you. I dig you guys. Thank you. Everybody else, thank you for showing up. Good night. We'll be back next week, 6 p.m.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.